Well, welcome, guys. You guys are at TALKBACK ON at KCON. We are a podcast show where professionals tell stories, tips, and secrets from the other side of the studio glass in K-pop. Our TALKBACK ON team is very excited to bring our show to you guys live at KCON 2022 in Los Angeles. If you guys are new to this show, please give us a follow at TALKBACK ON across all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Also, make sure to hit that bell icon to receive notifications on our latest news as well as our giveaways. Speaking of giveaways, we will be announcing a winner at the end of our show for the Homesick Mixtape CD that was signed by Peniel from B2B. And our co-host, KAIROS. I heard there's only a dozen hard copies, left in the world. So it's a very exclusive and limited edition copy. Lastly, before we introduce our guests and host, we are partnering with major brands from Waves and other sponsors that support our show. So make sure to join us on our Discord, where you will find our hosts and star guests hanging out with our growing community of fans and creators. So we're going to open our show with Circuit Board, and this week we will talk about techniques with a popular plugin known as The Sauce, made by one of our good friends, DJ Swivel. Make sure to check out his signature line of plugins. We'll be giving away a couple licenses from TALKBACK ON podcast soon, so don't miss out. See you guys back here in a little bit. Hey, what's up, guys? It's KO here. Today on Circuit Board, we're going to be going over a plugin known as The Sauce from DJ Swivel. Be sure to check out his other lineup of plugins down in the description below, but also check out our episode with the man himself on episode 17. So let's just dive right into it. So the session that we're using today is from Keynote Sessions. If this is your first time watching, please check us out on our Discord and be sure to tune in every Friday for our keynotes. Before we start diving in, let's take a look at the plugin. So this is known as The Sauce. First off, it's got a very friendly and great UI. We can see everything clearly laid out. So let's go over the multiband. The multiband looks like it's got 3 bands. It's got a solo and a bypass button. And you're able to kind of set the bands however you want to. Next, we have the spread section, which is a stereo imaging tool. It allows us to go from 0 all the way up to 100. So crazy stuff that you can do with here. Next, we have Flavor, which is a pitch adjusting tool. Allows us to set the pitch as well as the format, and there's a mix knob as well too. Plus, you can link the two and get great results. Now we have Spice, which I believe is a harmonic distortion, hot if you want to go straight overdrive distortion, get something really crunchy and nice out of it. We have Sugar, which are, I believe, chorusing and flanger effects. On the right side, we have Drip, which is a great delay / echo tool that you can use to create really cool effects. Then we have Squeeze, which is a compression tool, and you can side chain it. But what's really cool about this is you could really change the way your sources sound with this. And Smoke is a very interesting reverb tool that allows you to choose between small, medium, large halls, but also be able to adjust it, and it gives them really nice air quality as well too. Lastly, we have this master section that allows us to really control the output gain, high pass and low pass filters, and so forth. So the first way I like to use The Sauce is on 808s. And I'm actually using a preset from DJ Swivel known as Bass Gravy Train. Great name, first off. It's utilizing the multiband. It's also raising the format a slight bit, but probably my favorite is using the Spice mild flavor, I guess, to really just drive up the harmonic distortion. So let's hear without it, and then I'll play with it. Now with it. It gives it a really nice edge, and it allows it to really pop in the mix more. Now, the second way that I really like to use The Sauce is for vocal effects. And as you know, chopped and screwing is a very popular thing to do in different types of music. And this is the tool that is perfect for that. This is something that I created on my own. So on this, I am just layering on the rap vocals, certain sections where I feel like it'd be cool to have a chop and screwed, like a low octave kind of voice to it. So what I've done is taken the words that I want to chop and screw, and then I've lowered the pitch by -12, which is a whole octave, And then I've adjusted the format to where I think sounds great. Then I have adjusted the spice mild to give it some harmonic distortion, but I've also given it some nice time-based effects on it as well to really just kind of get the groove going. So let's hear how it sounds without and with.
Yeah. Get him a zump.
Cool.
Yeah. Get him a zump.
Cool, nice. If we play it with the lead vocals.
I'm in the zone, yeah. Out of control, yeah. I'm on the throne, yeah. Get him a zump.
Last but not least, this is a great tool to use even for mixing. I have these background vocals and they sing kind of in the same timbre as the lead vocal does. And what happens is you kind of have this frequency buildup and it could also kind of sound lost in the mix. So let me just play this section without the sauce plugin and then play it with it on and then show you guys what I did.
Shining so bright, I see you running through my mind.
Now with the sauce.
Shining so bright, I see you running through my mind.
Now you can hear that it really pops out there. So let's check out what I did. Now what's really cool about this is all I did was just play around with the pitch tool. And I've added a whole high octave to the harmony vocals. And then I've adjusted the format to kind of make it sound as natural as possible. But then the mix knob really allowed me to adjust between the dry and the wet signal. So if you hear it in solo,
Running through my mind.
it actually adds another octave above what the mid harmony is doing. And that allows you to really bring out these harmonies and not get really lost with the lead vocals. So once again, I will play this without and with the sauce.
Shining so bright, I see you running through my mind.
Now with it.
Shining so bright, I see you running through my mind.
As you can see, there's so many ways you can use the sauce to play around with anything, from recording to mixing, even mastering. The possibilities are endless. So be sure to check it out. It is one of my favorite channel strips that I like to use. And we'll see you guys next time. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed the circuit board segment. Let's jump right in. Starting from our right, we have the legendary composer, award-winning producer, and member of one of the biggest groups in Korea known as Solid. Let's welcome the man who helped pave the way for K-pop today, Jae Chung.
Yay! Thank you, guys.
Next, we have a multi-platinum producer and songwriter for artists like GOT7, SHINee, itsy, Suzy, B2B, Stray Kids, Marcus and Martinez, and many other singles and albums that went #1, including winning the Mama Song of the Year award for Signal by Twice. He is the founder of KAIROS Music Group and also the CEO of the worldwide publishing group, Decade Plus Music. Please welcome KAIROS, everybody. And I am KO. Apparently, I'm quote unquote an ultra platinum producer, chief audio engineer, and director of A&R at Decade Plus Music Publishing. Thank you. Our guest today has close to 17 million views on their channel and is one of the fastest growing content in popularity and demand. This power couple has stanned K-pop since the 90s, and they have one of the most entertaining reaction videos out there. From unboxing albums to connecting with their community, the fun gets crAJee. Please welcome our good friends, Andrew and Jasmine, also known as itsAndyandJas.
Welcome.
So tell us, how did this all start? Everyone in music started as fans and was inspired by someone or something. What was the beginning for you guys that brought you guys here today?
The beginning of our channel? When we started, so we started during quarantine, during peak of COVID, and then we put up a reaction video. And our first reaction video was in Hypen's Give and Taken. And then we wanted to use the platform to get to know the fourth gen groups, because we're trying to learn more about the fourth gen groups. And we thought maybe we can build a community where we can connect with fans and kind of make a channel where everybody could just kind of come to our channel to just kind of nerd out and just get excited together.
And to elaborate, so it was like he said, it was COVID, and it was a very hard time for us because it was like our life was pretty much like on stop, which I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to. So we always wanted to do YouTube together, but never got the chance because we were either working or, life got in the way. But this time we were just like, you know what, instead of just sitting doing nothing, moping, being sad over this, we should finally start a YouTube channel, do some fun things, but also hope that we can bring our knowledge of K-pop into the world, especially we didn't know a lot of 4th gen groups because we kind of stopped during the 3rd gen. We were kind of standing only the 3rd gen, 2nd, 1st, and then we were like, we should really get into 4th gen and also help new K-pop lovers know how K-pop was formed and, where it came from, knowing them the 1st gen, 2nd gen, things like that. So that's how it started.
That's cool. Now, when we talk about bridging cultures and overcoming barriers, how much do Korean Americans impact a movement like K-pop? What does K-pop mean to you?
For me, I think it means a lot. K-pop is basically, I was born into K-pop. I grew up with it, so I feel like it's weird to not have K-pop in my life, especially because it got me through a lot of things, especially the groups that I love. As I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, all my sad times, all the times that I went through a lot of things, I kind of went back to K-pop. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones that helped me get through my hard times. So I feel like it means a lot to me, specific groups. And sorry, I'm kind of nervous. This is my first time. I'm like so nervous. I have a lot to say. But yeah.
Okay. So as for Korean Americans trying to impact K-pop, I think as bilinguals, we do something on our channel called Deconstructing Lyrics. And I feel like, of course, listening to music for what it is also fun and exciting, but like you find a different type of fun from actually dissecting the lyrics. Especially because we want to be able to, because in Korean language, there are certain words where there just isn't a specific word in English that we can explain. So we try to explain that on our channel and try to maybe help some people out there to understand the song better. Yeah.
I got a word in Korean that I can't find the English translation for. It's 고소해.
고소하다.
Yeah. Like,
like when you
eat something, it's 고소해.
It's
like,
you're right.
how do you say that in English? Is that like nutty?
It's toasty.
But you can also say that when sweet satisfaction.
That's like 달콤해.
True. 고소 can be also used as like let's say someone you want to gets hurt and you're like 고소하다. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could, there's multiple applications for it. But like sesame seed, right? When you eat sesame seed with something, you're like, it's 고소해. How do you say?
Toasty?
This is actually perfect. This is kind of why we also started our channel and doing more deconstructings and lyrics, because of things like this, because there's a lot of words that you can't explain in English. So we try to help our fellow fans know the lyrics that these artists are trying to say, because I feel like it's very important. That's why these artists wrote the lyrics. And it's so much fun when you get to finally know what they're trying to say. So for us, we try our best to kind of, for example, like 고소해, it's like, we're like, you could tell we're struggling. We're like, how would you say this? It's like toasty, but it's like, that's not how you say it. But we try our best to help them kind of figure out what this word or the phrase actually means. So actually it's kind of good that you brought that up too.
Did you guys also go through the struggle of trying to fix the TV antenna to watch your favorite Korean music TV program, or having to drive out to go to a specialty store to pick up music and stuff as well too?
Back in the days, maybe not so much with cable, but back in the days we used to rent VHS videos every week. So at that time, I think it was called Gayo Top 10. So I remember I always look forward to my parents going to the video store and renting the new.
They're still there, Inkigayo and stuff.
Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, back from what I can think of, back then. Yeah. Like when Bang Namjung, whose daughter isn't Stacy. So yeah.
That's great.
The evolution where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah. As mentioned before, we love your reaction videos. We all know that K-pop fans react to not only just the music video and aesthetics, but the song, fashion, choreography, distribution of lines, comeback concept, etc. What makes reacting to K-pop different than other music genres?
I have a lot to say with that one too. I love storylines. So back in the days, there wasn't much like that. But these days, I feel like you can interact with your favorite groups more because they have these concepts and these storylines, and it makes it fun, especially with other fellow fans. You start talking about theories, and even if you're right or wrong, it's still fun because you get to talk together and you go, oh my God, this story, for example, like in Hypen, they're vampires. I love that. And then, they have this whole story, even like ATEEZ has their pirates, and then like you can dress up like them too. I'm sure Jay's thinking, I've never had this before. I don't know what she's talking about. Because back then, there was nothing like that. It was like, it's just music and, music videos. But now it's like, you have this whole land.
Concept.
It's crazy. It's the best thing, yeah. So that's the difference, yeah.
The infamous clear pants.
Oh, clear pants, JYP.
The clear pants.
I don't know why he did that, to be honest. But when Hyunjin wore it, I thought it was amazing. Yeah, he pulled it off, but JYP, I don't know. Just kidding.
I'm wearing one right now, actually, right here. My clear pants.
But I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, sure. What makes K-pop so different from other music genres? Because when you guys actually react to the music, it's not only just the video and the aesthetics, but the fashion, choreography, distribution of lines, and comeback concept, etc.
I think the comeback concept is what makes it really cool, because I feel like every time they come back with something new, it's different. Like you can look forward to something different. And not just that, but even the style of music, they'll try to dive into something else, and it's something to look forward to as a fan. So in those ways, I think it's interesting. Like we look forward to comebacks, yeah, and how often they come back too. I love that.
I'll just add to that too, because I think with K-pop, what's really cool is like it includes everybody. It allows us to get involved in many different ways, like reaction videos, or just even as someone that wants to be part of the fan club. And just kind of going back a little bit, for me personally, the thing that's so special about K-pop, like I grew up watching K-pop through these staticky channels when they had like one Korean channel in Chicago growing up, and it would come on like past 9 p.m. And what I would do is I would actually take my tape recorder and try to press it against the TV and record K-pop as it was coming out. And it would be once a week. And if like my dad coughed or something, it would just ruin the recording. And I would wait another week, and be like, I have to wait another week to get a clean recording. What's really cool is like, I would watch guys like Jay, on stage. And it was just such an inspiration because for K-pop, like I think many of us, just like all of us here, the thing that we can connect with is that, we don't necessarily come from Korea, or maybe some of us do, but the fact that music can bring us, into so many different cultures, and we can just band together in, this thing called K-pop, but there's so much more to it, just like we mentioned before. So yeah, for me, it's an opportunity for us to, enjoy the art, but also be part of the art as well.
Yeah, and I think this is my first time at KCON, and one thing that was surprising to me was just the diversity of the people that are here, and I think K-pop is a testament to that. It brought like so many genres and so many different people from all different walks of life into the same common sort of interest, right? And I think that's something that's very positive. And I think moving forward, I think K-pop is one of those things that are just kind of promoting positivity and inclusiveness and overall creativity, with the videos. And one of the interesting things is, for the past, I would say like 10 plus years, I always felt like in the US, like the music industry was sort of downsizing, and in the meantime, Korea was like doubling down on it, right? Tripling down on it. So, you see all these awesome music videos that people could be excited about, with the reaction videos and all the stuff, and I just think it's just so awesome. Back in the '90s was when I was in the group Solid, and had I known it would be like this in 2022, it would just been mind blowing. And today is the first time I'm actually witnessing it in real life, so it's pretty awesome.
Well said, guys. Now, have you ever reacted to something where you got carried away but forgot that you're recording?
All the time. All the time.
The funny thing about that is, it's funny because there's just a camera in front of you, but then you feel like you're watching it with all your subscribers. It's like a weird feeling. So even though we're just in our room together and there's a camera, our imagination feels like we're with everybody. So that's why I think I catch myself saying like, oh my God, you guys, watch this. Like, oh, you guys, because I feel like they're there. You know what I mean? It's like a weird feeling. Yeah, but then when you look at it, you're just by yourself in your room. But at that moment when you're watching it, you feel like you're watching it with like all the fans. You know what I mean? All the whatever fandom you're watching at the time. Yeah.
I saw the video with you guys reacting to Big Bang Comeback, and it was like I could feel the emotion. It was pretty powerful.
I mean, I know. I cried. But because Big Bang was such a big part of our life growing up.
I'm gonna cry right now. I always cry.
And then finding out that they were coming back, and you would think, Big Bang always came back with like a banger. But then to come back with a song like that, like, yeah. And then there's some times where we would be reacting and then, your body just kind of reacts. And then I forget that I'm on camera. And then we would just stop and we would just laugh and be like, we just did that. Are we gonna keep that or?
Especially when he does his twerking, I'm like, yo. And that's why when there's like the teeth happens, it's like, dude, did you really just do that? I'm like, all right, let's keep going. Yeah.
Now, here's an interesting one. If we had reaction videos in the 90s, which group or artists would you guys want to react to?
Oh, we actually did some throwbacks, like HOT, SES, who else? Did we do someone else? Flight to the Sky's more 2000. Yeah, but we did do some, but definitely the ones we didn't do yet, we wanted to do like, at least for me, like Finkel, Baby Vox. You probably want Jess Kiss.
Yeah, Jackie. I would have wanted to maybe in the 90s, Kim Gun-mo.
And Solid.
Solid. Because R&B wasn't, like, in the 90s, I remember when I listened to Solid, like, R&B, when I think about it now, it's like you guys are the ones that made R&B really cool in Korea, And we really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, there's so many we would react to.
Wait, I just have a question. So is it true that fans would try to steal, because in the group Solid, there was a member with a cane. Is it true that fans would try to steal that cane?
Oh, I think it's been stolen a few times.
A few times? Wow.
I remember we were sitting in a van in front of a place like this. We had a show, and we're just waiting for call time, and then all of a sudden our back door of our van opened, just boom, open, and we're like, and these girls just took everything from the back. Like we had our wardrobe, the cane, everything there, and it was all gone. They just ran off with it, and we're like, okay, now we got nothing to wear for the show, right?
I really like that story where you talked about with these days K-pop groups have the little, introducing.
So in 2015, I produced this group called Royal Pirates, and then so they had a TV show. So I haven't been to a TV show, like TV station, in a long time, and I was in the dressing room, and everybody's like inside, like the whole group would show up, like 15 of them, and they're like, we are so and so, and they get the motion, and they would bow and do this, right? So I was like, oh, okay, nice to meet you, And then I was in the restroom, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden one of those groups came into the restroom, and then they're like, we are so and so, and then this dance routine, and they're bowing, I was like, all right, guys.
They never had that back then, yeah.
Yeah, so
Goes through the stalls. Poof, we're so and so.
Like I can't shake your hands right now, but yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, that was kind of a new thing.
It's like a difference too from now and then. Then was just like, hi, we're Solid, right? That was just.
Yeah, back then, I think, I mean, some people did get like scolded by the older singers if they didn't greet people. They would come in and there's like, and then they're like, hey, yeah, and then I've seen some of that stuff go down in the backstage a few times, but now it's just like routine. It's like a routine. Like everybody would show up and we are, up tension, whatever, and it's just like, doing this, and we're like, oh, cool, very cool. It's like an army,
So we talk a lot about the K-pop soul element on this show. The soul, or bong, seems to get lost in our attempt to cross over it sometimes. When songs all have references outside of Korea now, how do you guys react when you hear or feel something that sounds familiar to something you grew up listening to?
Definitely, there is a lot more Western feel to it. I feel like back then, there wasn't a lot of more Western writers back then in K-pop. But now that there is like more broader people, I feel like definitely the music changed. There are still like that, I think some groups still bring that whole 90s, especially these days, because 90s is in now. They try to bring that whole 90s K-pop feel back in. But yeah, the evolution has changed. It's crazy these days.
And then, yeah, no, really, like, I think the perfect example is like, Blackpink just came out with their song Pink Venom. And then in there's a rap part and the beat changes. But then the beat is like much more 90s like. There's like a reference, it sounds like to me like NWA material. Like, or like Chinushan's Gasoline. Like, has that, like, is that like the synth sound? Like, and then, yeah, like when I hear stuff like that, it's just nostalgia of what I used to feel back then, how I felt when I first listened to Jinushan, or, Tasha, like you meet at Uptown. Yeah.
That's cool. I still think ballads hit home for me.
No, for sure, ballads.
That's the karaoke must.
That's your thing.
Now, on your channel, you guys claim you guys aren't musicians or lyricists or anything, but we all know that you guys have some talent. I've worked with Andrew on some demos, and this guy can sing. If you guys ever wanted to get into songwriting or producing, what would you guys like to create for the market moving forward? And what would be the best reaction that itsAndyandJas can give from your reaction videos?
Wow, that's a tough question. If I were to create music.
Oh my God.
And we're going to do a reaction video to your music.
Yeah, we're going to judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
so
Andy
hard.
and Jazz.
I think, okay, maybe just because this is a trend right now, maybe I'll do some like change-ups in the song, because I love the change-ups. These days, that's one thing from the last question. There's a lot of change-ups in songs, so I feel like it's very interesting because it's less boring too sometimes. I'm not saying the songs back in the day were boring, but it definitely has a lot of that feel where I'm like, you feel like you're listening to something and then you're like, wait, what's going on here? And it changes, and again, it changes again, and you're like, it's just a lot, but in a good way. Yeah, but what was the question? Wait, I get carried away. What was the question?
If you did your own music.
My own music, yes. So I'll do a lot of change-ups. I probably hip hop, that's like my thing. Yeah. Oh, rock too.
For me, I think so rap is one of the most like, that's like the main thing that I listen to. But then before rap, my first love was like R&B. So if I were to want to create music, I would want to create music that people can relate to. Like Andy's song is the song that I want to listen to right now. It's the first song that comes to mind, whatever they're going through. I think that's the type of music that I would want to make. And as for a reaction, I would want to make you guys cry.
Like in a good way or a bad way?
It's to make you guys cry.
From joy or?
Cry from both.
I can see myself like about to cry, but with all those changes, it's gonna like be like, oh, abruptly stop.
That's why that's mine would be more the hype. Yeah.
Just when
The whole package.
Just when we're about to cry, you're gonna break into a dance routine, hip hop breakdown. Yeah.
The teardrop becomes part of the percussion.
Well, I thought that was an interesting question because, for me personally, like when I was studying a lot of the music that was out there, I actually connected with a lot of the mix engineers out here in LA, just to kind of see, like what kind of stuff they're working with, since, the stuff that they're working with essentially will be out in the radios from like 3 to 6 months. So just kind of thinking ahead, it was really, just impactful in that way, just to learn from them and just seeing, you know, how they view music. And for you guys from the reaction videos, obviously you guys see a lot of the songs that are coming out, and maybe can kind of tell, you know, where it's all going, you know, and no one could really guess where music is going, but just from your standpoint, I think it's interesting to see the perspective, you know, and just how music is being developed.
Do you guys have any questions for creators behind the music that you guys react to?
That we react.
Lyrics. What they
Lyrics.
think about when they're writing these lyrics, because it's like crazy sometimes.
And then to see like, maybe, you know how sometimes like when music is, I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not pro or anything, but you know, like I feel like sometimes maybe the original, whatever came out, is actually not what it was when it first started. And I want to know how it got to that. You know, like that creative process behind the scenes of why they chose certain beats or why they chose certain melodies. I think those would be, and the lyrics too. Like what they were thinking of, like what made you want to use specifically these words, or why you wanted to put these two words together, if that makes sense. Yeah, those would be the questions that we would want to ask.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
You don't have my guess, or you know, what's funny is when we make songs, like for example, like we don't have the lyrics, right? So when people top line or whatever, a lot of times we just come up with gibberish, like something that's, you know, if we're writing songs for Japan, it would sound like Japanese, but it's not really Japanese. You know, like I do it, you know, whatever. And then when we do it for English songs, we do the same. So like we're singing gibberish that sounds like English. And sometimes we say things that sound like English, and they're like, "Oh, that's kind of hooky," right? And we would use that, like, you know, if it's like, you know, like not like daylight, you know, and go, "Oh, sounds like daylight." Yeah. In fact, one of my songs is called Daylight for that reason, because you know, when you sing this melody, guys, we end up with these words that sound like English, and then they turn into lyrics. Yeah, so that's one of the ways.
I think there was an interesting that you brought up about concepts too. I think that is something that we think about as well too. I think that's a huge importance of K-pop, because not only is it a musical thing, it's also very visual thing as well too. So trying to inspire concepts for the labels as for the artist's next release is something that we definitely try to be creative about, at least.
Yeah, I love concepts and storylines because I think you can relate with the artists more through their story, because you know, normally you can already relate so much with their lyrics, but then I feel like these stories definitely bring us closer because you can definitely relate with whatever the story is. You can put your life into it as well, you know? And yeah, I'm just so proud of K-pop and like the way it's evolved throughout the years. Back in the days too, like it was sometimes embarrassing to say like K-pop because of society. You know, they kind of made you feel like you have to be only a kid to like K-pop, or, you know, there was points where it was like, people would be like, what are you listening to? You know, and I'll be like, K-pop, you know, and they'll be like, what's K-pop? I'm like, Korean music. And it's to the point where they're like, what's Korean? You know what I mean? Like they didn't even know Korea back then. So it's like, from that to now, where it's like K-pop is huge, I'm like so happy, so proud, you know, and like I can't wait for it to continue to get bigger. Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a quick story with I guess titles and I guess lyrics too. So for the song Yes No Maybe with Suzy, I had like some ideas sent to me from JY Park, and it was just, you know, bare bones, just really like just simplified ideas. And at the time when I looked at the demo, it said yes, no. So then I put my ideas in and I sent it back with yes, no, maybe, ? Just to be funny, you know. And they said, and then when the song came out, they literally said yes, no, maybe. So I was like so shocked. I'm like, oh, you know. So sometimes there's no like real like deep meaning behind it, you know, and I was just trying to be playful. And there was another song, I think I was running out of like, I just needed to submit something quick, and we didn't have a title for it, so I just said, I just said, you know, like I just made a sound. And then the song came out, you know, and I was like, whoa, I gotta be more careful, you know, and put more thought into this, because people are really rolling with these titles, you know, so.
It's funny because, you know, when it gets translated to Korean from the demo, you would expect something, maybe a different concept or maybe a different story behind it, but sometimes they'll just kind of roll with the ideas that you have. So we try to create as much of the imagination done for the labels as well as for the artists, but sometimes it could get pretty funky.
So sometimes when I write music, I want to make sure it's expressed in the way that the song should be delivered. So, I would, sometimes it's more edgy. There's like curse words, and it's probably not the kid-friendly content. And then I found out that some labels like really dislike that. And I didn't know that, So then I would have to kind of clean up my, lyrics, and whatnot. But it's kind of interesting because, we want to have the freedom to kind of express the way. So I don't actually compromise on that. I still submit everything, with all the words and whatever content it is. But yeah, there's guidelines, or boundaries, I guess.
Now, in terms of your creative process when you guys are planning for these videos, is it specifically just waiting for the music to launch and try to record it right away, or do you kind of plan things out or try to have a different approach to it for?
Well, we just go within our schedule. So if we're busy that day, then unfortunately we can't. Because of course, people want to watch our reaction probably as soon as it comes out too, so we can watch it together. But we always tell them, sorry if we can't, because today or tomorrow we're busy, so we'll come with it like whenever we're free, So we try our best to get to it as soon as we can, but there's not always we can't do that because we have our other stuff that we do too. But yeah, so that's the hard part too, us holding off on watching something when we want to watch it like right then and there. But it's like we want to watch it together too. So it's like there are some that we actually couldn't watch together because sometimes we just can't hold back. So we just end up watching and we're like, sorry guys, I think there was one that we just watched again with them, and then because it was like, we're like, okay, we'll just watch it again with you guys, But other than that, yeah, we try to hold off as long as we can, and then if we can't, then it's like, sorry, we watched it. Yeah.
As far as the creative, I feel like there's no plan. We just do it. Yeah. We'll just turn it on and we'll just be like, we're doing this today, and then record. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What would be probably the most challenging process for you guys?
Probably the editing, which we love editing, but we like to we don't want to just put our reaction and the video on. We like to be more interactive with our fellow subscribers. So we like to make it like very entertaining. And then especially like, for example, like deconstructing, when Andy deconstructs, it takes a lot of time to edit. So sometimes like even a 30-minute video takes us like 7 hours to edit. So that's challenging, but at the same time, we love doing it. So it's not a bad challenging. It's more like all right, it takes time. Yeah.
And just making sure when I am deconstructing the lyrics that I'm not like butchering the lyrics. I'm making sure that the information that I'm putting out there is like helpful and is to the best of my ability correct. Yeah. I think that's the most challenging part for us.
Yeah, we usually spend quite a few time actually going back with the post-production process as well too. So that's something that's very relatable.
We go off. We don't have any scripts either. We just record and see what happens, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
literally no
we have guests, and we just right.
I guess we react to our guests.
You suck.
I mean, it's definitely something that you just kind of have to do, right? Because you want to capture the moment, especially being able to listen to the song for the first time. So I think that's definitely cool. I think that's something that we kind of share with what we do as well, especially when we listen to music or get presented a project, we kind of have to think on the spot and definitely react to it in a certain way as well too. So
have you guys like done a reaction to a video and then like forget to record it and then recreate that reaction again? No?
We've never forgotten.
Oh, really?
But there were, of course, stuff that, which our subscribers know, there's music videos or songs that we might possibly not have, like, it's not our taste. So we just don't upload it at all because we rather just not say anything negative because there's people like you guys who work really hard on songwriting and the artists themselves too. Wait, no, it's true though. Why? What's so funny? No, but it's true. It's true though. Like, we personally feel like, there's no need to like upload a video that you just personally didn't like the song or whatever and just say what you want to say because especially his sister is a songwriter as well. So like, I see the hard work she puts in like night and day, So it's like, for us, we're like, what's the point of us stating our opinion about something when we just there's no need. We don't have a right to state our opinion, like publicly at least. You know what I mean? So there's times where we watch something and we're like, you know what, this was cool, but it's not our taste, so we just don't upload it.
I'm gonna ask you what those songs are.
No.
After this, I'm gonna ask you in the green room. Yeah.
Yes.
But not just that, but it's like also, it's like, why come out and say it? Because in the end, there just as much as there are people who it might have not been to our taste, but then there are people out there where they do and did enjoy it, you know? So there would be no reason for us to come out and then start saying what we didn't like about it and kind of ruin the fun for them, you know? It's like,
we don't like it when people do that for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
So it's just like, okay, you have your opinions, but just we'd rather not say it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on our end, we tend to, actually, this happened a lot between me and Kairos, especially when we first met. He would have some ideas, and I would forget to press the record button or something, and he'd be like, oh, shoot, that was such a brilliant idea. And there's something where, there's that moment where if we have to recreate it, it doesn't feel the same, too. So good practice for all of you guys. If you guys in this industry, make sure you record everything.
Or I just like mess with, artists sometimes, and they'll do an incredible take. I like react to them. I'm like, all right, let's do the real take now. And they're like, oh, you didn't record? I'm like, no, but that was awesome,
Lastly, do you guys have anything that you guys would like to plug, including your social media handles and any upcoming plans?
I don't think we have any upcoming plans. Even just hang out literally at our channel, at itsAndyandJas. It's just have fun, and get crazy and just get excited together. I think that's the biggest part for us on our channel, is to come to our channel and just be you, and then just get excited with us, no matter how it may be,
I think main thing we want to let our subscribers know is that we are also just like you guys, fans of K-pop. We're not professional reviewers, musicians, singers, dancers. We might know because we enjoy it. We are not at all. Maybe Andy, he can do a dance break right here. But we might know, or it might seem like we know what we're talking about, but really we don't. We just watch what we see, with whatever we like, we just say it, and say what we feel. Mm-hmm, what we feel. So by all means, we are not professionals of anything. We just fans just like you, just jibber-jabbing away, and twerking sometimes.
That's the most accurate assessment of a song, is your actual real reaction. You know? And sometimes, even when companies do market research, they want to see what the consumers think, right? Because musicians, we have a different set of ears when we listen to overanalyze, overthink things, right? So so that's why I started watching a lot of reaction videos, because I want to see where people like or what part of the song they like, right? So it's very important.
Yeah, from a creator's end too, it's amazing seeing some feedback that is recorded and seeing people's live reaction as well too. So we really dig your stuff.
And I just want to add too, I said this before, but I feel like K-pop is not just a Korean thing or Asian thing. It's really become this thing where we can all get involved and and participate and be just a part of the growth, And so this movement, I've been going to KCON for some time now, and I remember one of the first KCONs I was at, I asked the room, I said, who's Korean here? And there was just a few hands up. And I said, wait, who's Asian here? There was only 10 people with their hands up. And I said, that's so beautiful, because we get to really just take this and create this together and enjoy just every aspect of K-pop, and, whether that be the choreography, food, fashion, reaction videos, dramas, there's just so many things that we can just be a part of. And I see just how impactful and how much we get to influence the culture together. So yeah, I think that's really cool. We have another panel right after this. So if you guys want to continue the party, I'm sure most of us here will go to that too. So yeah, it'll be in panel 2, I believe, at 12:15.
Plug. My social handles are I am Jay Chong. That's it. That's the only thing I plug.
I have a question for Jay. What's the craziest difference from back then K-pop for you personally, and now that you see it?
Oh.
Is it the
clothing?
The makeup.
The makeup. I think, it's just the scale of it, obviously, right? So the funny thing is kind of biggest thing that changes like album sales, right? So like in the 90s, we were selling like millions of albums. Of course, CDs in general have
It's the only
declined.
way to listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the business side of it, I remember like even when we were selling millions of albums in Korea, at our office we had one girl answering the phone, we had the boss sitting in the desk back there, and that was it. And if anybody called and said hello, like our receptionist would immediately hang up, like, right? Yeah, so you know, seeing that go to this international thing now, which is like, you know, worldwide, right? So it's something that I think Korea has always been working for decades. And one of the reasons is because the domestic market is not that big. So it's almost out of necessity that we had to export, right? So, but now we're actually successfully doing it, right, globally. So that's a really, really big thing. And the biggest difference, I think, is that it's international, right? Like, look at the crowd, you know, it's very diverse and yeah, so it's great.
Well, I feel like this is an incredible episode. Hopefully we can do this again, and maybe next time we can react to this video while eating Korean barbecue. I think as Kairos kind of said it, I think it's great to see all of you guys here. We can see how this genre of music, or K-pop in general, has just really united us, and being able to speak on so many different things and connect with each other in so many different ways too. So hope you guys enjoyed the showing. We're gonna announce a giveaway as well too, but yeah, I guess just for the YouTubes, we'll see you guys next time.